right. Welcome to week 2. Um, so real quick, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that at the end because I want to stop recording it and then have everybody just share how week 1 went because I'd love to have everybody just kind of get to know each other a little better. And it's always fun to talk to someone who's on your journey with you. But last week, just as a quick recap, you were basically dreaming big with doTERRA. Like, what would happen if I created an extra $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is? What would that do for my family? What would that be like? And then you were also going to be creating a names list. And I am going to now show you what to do with that names list. So, we had talked about everybody getting some little sample vials. I like the quarter dram. And if you guys are doing this at your own pace, don't freak out and stress and worry that you're not caught up or whatever. At the end of the day, what's most important about this challenge that I'm doing is that you are learning the steps to build your business when you're ready to put in the time and effort. So, if 1 week you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't catch up, this is hard, I don't want you just to stop doing this. What I would rather have you do is keep going and just learn what you're going to be doing that's going to help you move your business forward. So this week, I really want, and I'm going to have my assistant Jody will post the winner from she's going to do a drawing, and I'm going to give away 2 emotions oils. So be on the lookout on your Facebook chat because she'll message you. Well, she'll post the winner in the Launch Your Business group, and then she will message, if you won, she'll message you and say, hey, I need your address. So be on the lookout for that if you get tagged that you won. So this week, we are going to focus on sharing samples with people and just showing them how to use the oils and getting them excited. And I'm going to put a little plug in for a training. Now, I realize that this is going to be recorded and you may not, you may watch this later and be like, oh my goodness, I missed what she's talking about. But I have an awesome girl on my team. She's super cute. Her name's Carrie Price. And she has some really good material digital marketing material that then you can also go and print out. That's really good to hand out with your samples. Like, for example, she has one for On Guard that you can hand out to people to show them how to use the little On Guard samples. Like, she'll put an On Guard toothpaste in there. She'll put an On Guard, a little bit of cleaning concentrate, whatever, just to show them how to use On Guard products. On Tuesday, I had said Monday, but it will be Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Carrie's going to be doing a Zoom. I will post the link on Launch Your Business, but it's going to be perfect for sharing with people, giving them a sample. But what I like that she's created is instructions, beautiful instructions for what to do with that sample. Because if people don't ever use a sample that you're giving them, it's not because they don't want to, it's usually because they don't know what to do. And then the most common thing that I hear is, I just didn't have time. And I always have to laugh because I'm like, you didn't have time to unscrew the lid and dab some here or here or here. And the truth is they're not sure what to do. So if you're available Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., the link will be posted on Launch Your Business. We are going to be doing that training that's just going to have, it's really cool digital marketing material. And then you can then print it. It's awesome. So yeah, check that out. But this week, I really want you guys to focus talking to people on your list. Now, realize this, anytime somebody embarks on a new career, whether they want to be like a teacher, a doctor, a dentist, an engineer, whatever it is, a police officer, a paramedic, there is training involved. So I always want to just remind you that you will fumble your first fruit. Well, you might, as I'm fumbling as I'm talking, but you may fumble through sharing a sample with somebody and you may feel like you get tongue-tied. And that's okay, because this is a learning process. If you're going to become a teacher, normally you're going to school for 4 years for that, and then you're doing student teaching, right? So you're getting the practice. So this, you dive right in. It's like, bam, you're in going. But at the beginning, you'll get more comfortable as you go. So if people tell you no, or you don't feel like you know the right things, don't let it discourage you, because it's normal. One time I used to have a business coach by the name of Tiffany Peterson, and I used to do a conference that she had every single fall. And she always, and it was an exercise that she did every time I went, but she would have you have something in mind that you wanted. Like, can you help me find a house cleaner? Or can you help me hit presidential diamond in my business? Can you help me learn to be a better cook? Can you, I mean, it could just be something you wanted. And you had to go around and ask random people, and then people had to ask you. But here was the catch. I had to say no 3 times, and then I could say a yes. So I learned a few things from that. So as people would come up to me, and I never knew if I was going to get a yes or a no from the people I asked, because I didn't know how many people had talked to them. But most of the times I got no's. And it was discouraging. You're like, oh. But the more that I kept doing it, and the more that I asked, hey, can you help me find a new house cleaner? Someone would be like, no. And it was just an exercise, because people maybe they really didn't know a house cleaner, but to have to ask and ask and ask, and sometimes people said no, and sometimes people said yes. It was like more exciting to find the people that did want to say yes, or were able to say yes in the instance of this game. So not everybody is going to be open to buying oils, and that is okay. What we are looking for is the people who are interested in oils. And the only way that we can do that is by asking. So just pretend that you're playing a game where the more you ask, the more yeses you're going to get. So just some tips for getting your samples ready. First of all, I do quarter dram. And then I put in that quarter dram, I get, and I will show you a website that I like, that I do, that I'll order stuff from. So I'm going to share my screen. So sometimes I like to get things from, okay, last night I was helping my daughter get ready for she's doing a little farmer's market. Okay, so I will shop at Aroma Tools. You can do Amazon too. But here is what I do to get my sample drams. So I'll do 1/4 dram. I buy mine in bulk, because the more that you buy, the cheaper that they are. So I actually like to get, I like, and if you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to invest too much, that's totally okay. But I like to, okay, whatever, containers. Samples. Oh, it's going to find it for me now, finally. It's going slow. Here we go. Okay, so you can get a box of 144 quarter dram vials for $36. If you're like, that's too much, I don't want to spend that much, you could get a smaller package, because they do have, like if I scroll down, you'll find where they have like 12 or whatever. Notice they have labels available here. It's always nice to label your what it is you're giving away. So in fact, you'll notice they actually have a pack that has quarter dram sample vials, 144 and 240 labels, and it is cheaper than just the vials. So that might be an option. So you can find, if you go to Aroma Tools, you can do quarter dram, you can look up labels, but you can find little labels for what you're giving out. I really like to give out oils that are inexpensive for 2 reasons. First of all, you want to keep your costs low. We don't want to make this any more expensive than it needs to be by a long shot. I'm going to get my, oh, now I can see everybody. Okay. So you don't want this to be any more expensive than it needs to be. So I'm all about giving out things that smell good. And I'm also big on handing out samples that smell good. You know, sometimes you think, oh, I'm trying to make this big again. Sometimes you think, oh, I'm gonna give them something like helichrysum or frankincense, and then people A, don't know what to do with it, and B, it's really expensive, and then you're like, oh man, that was expensive. And sometimes those things don't smell good. I am all about giving out samples that smell good, whether it's wild orange, peppermint, breathe. My other trick is give out oils that you get instantaneous results from. So I want everybody to have a good experience. You know, for example, they do have Slim and Sassy oil, but I don't love when people want to get like, can I try a sample of Slim and Sassy? And I'm like, yes, I could give you a sample of Slim and Sassy. My goal is to make sure that you have really positive results from what you're using very quickly. And I don't know, with things like Slim and Sassy, and this isn't something I would tell someone, but you're not going to usually get the results you want with 15 drops of Slim and Sassy. So give things that they're going to get instant results from. Breathe oil. you put that Breathe oil on and bam, you're like, I feel amazing. Or if you give somebody a sample of Citrus Bliss, they're going to smell that and be like, I actually want to eat this oil because it tastes like a creamsicle. So you want to give out things that smell good and that are inexpensive and get instant results. So another one that I really like is I actually do like Digest Zen if someone has tummy issues. It's not my favorite smelling oil, but usually they get such good results so quickly that I like to give that one out. If I'm just doing like samples for a class, sometimes I'll do a sample of wild orange and peppermint together, like two vials. And I just give everybody a sample of wild orange and peppermint with a little card. And it can even be handwritten. It doesn't matter. Perfect is good. Done is better. So have some sort of instructions of what they can do with that oil. So if you are going to give out wild orange and peppermint, have them put some on their hands and then rub it together and then cup and inhale that peppermint and wild orange. It's going to open up their sinuses, and then kind of write what to expect, like cup and inhale to open in its sinuses, open airways, increase your mood, like have you be in a better mood. Can be good to ease head tension or whatever. So you want to make sure that when you give a sample, inexpensive, smells good, instant results, give instructions on how to use it so that people aren't confused. That is where Carrie's class next week, if you're watching this live, will come into play because she'll have some good tangible marketing tools that you can use with that. Now, you don't need that to thrive in your business. It helps, but I didn't even know what sample bottles were in the beginning, and I was refilling old bottles. And you know what? I am a presidential diamond now. So my point is that I figured out how to make it work without all the cutesy handouts and everything. But the handouts do make it easier. Another tool that you can hand out is, I'm actually going to share my screen and log into doTERRA's website now, is they do have a handout called Healthy Can Be Simple. And it is a great little guide, because what I also like to do when I hand out a sample is I like to have some sort of written material that they can follow along with that might give them tips for other things. Like, so when you're handing out your sample, they're like, oh, cool, I have wild orange, but then healthy can be simple. But then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, they have something that's good for head tension or stomach issues. Healthy. Okay, Emma, can be simple. So you can order these. And for example, here, hi, you need to go out. Hurry, out. I hide and my kids still find me. It's so fabulous. So you could get this Healthy Can Be Simple. It's a little guide. Let me see if it has a picture of the inside. But you can get them for like, not pennies, but cents. Like, it's not, I was hoping they'd have the inside of it. But anyway, it just has the basics about oils, and it's something fun that you can hand out to people. Another thing that I do like that is even cheaper than this is, you can get it from Aroma Tools, is the Modern Essentials card. We all know that Aroma Tools website's a little slow, as we learned last time, but this is going to be less expensive, and it's going to show people what they can do with the oils. So just some like tips on logistics of sharing a sample. Now I'm going to go over what to say when you share your sample, because I know that that's important too. We're not looking for quarter dram, you silly little website. We are looking for Modern Essentials, because I want to show you guys this card that you can hand out. Card. You can order in Chinese if that's your market. I think they have them in Spanish. They have them in several languages. Okay, I want to show you this card. I actually have one in my closet that I could also pull out, which is what I am going to do. I was hoping to find the price. Okay, so you'll notice here, they do have them in Spanish. They have them in English as well, which I recommend getting the English ones. But you'll notice Modern Essentials reference cards. Make sure you watch the language. Not watch your language. You can swear, I don't care. But make sure you get one that's in English so that people know how to read what you get them. But this is just a quick reference card. So it has like some basic elements on it. And then it also has what oils would work. So this gets people's wheels spinning. And these are really inexpensive. So $25 for $4. So that's even less expensive than that book. So I'm all about showing you options so that you can make this inexpensive, but make sure you do include instructions with what to do with your oils. Okay, now some things on, we're going to stop sharing again. Just some things with sharing samples. First of all, start with people who you feel safe with, that people that you're like, you know what, it's okay if I mess this up. So your mom, your friend, like a neighbor that you know really well, a sibling, whatever. So what I like to do is you can make next to each name that you have that you want to share oils with, you can have, why do you want to share with them? Maybe their son has respiratory issues. Maybe they have seasonal threats, allergies. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is that you have some reason that you want to share with them, right? So maybe write down what that is, because that might make it easier when you go to talk to them to share with them. So you can share samples with people. I like to have an event that I'm going to invite them to, because that is a little bit easier to say, hey, you know what? I am going to be I always like to find out if people are using oils first. So you can just strike up a little conversation and just say, hey, I was thinking about you the other day. Have you used essential oils before? A lot of times people nowadays will say yes. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so great. I actually just started using them myself and I'm loving them. And I thought of you. And then I'll say, have you ever tried doTERRA before? And because what I don't want to do is share a sample with somebody who already has like a doTERRA account. I want to work with new people. So I like to find out if they're using oils and if they are using doTERRA, right? And then I'll just say, okay, and you're going to find most people still have not used doTERRA before. I mean, even if doTERRA has 9 million customers, which I think it's more like 7 or 8, that's like the size of some big cities in the US. So, there's still plenty of, and that's the number of worldwide users. So the point is there's a lot of people who haven't used oils yet. So basically I like to establish, have they used doTERRA? Because I don't want to be handing samples to somebody who already has an account. And then I'll just I'll let them know why I thought of them and just say, you know what, I wanted to share this sample with you because I have loved these oils and I know that you have been struggling with your son's respiratory issues. And I have an oil that I love and I don't know if you'd be willing to try it, but I have a little bit for you. And normally people are like, oh yeah, that would be great. And just say, okay, so I have some Breathe for you. And here's how you use it. You want to put it just right on their chest. If you have a diffuser in your home, you can actually dump a little bit in the diffuser. And the way to get the sample out is you're going to tap it upside down or turn it upside down and tap the bottom. And each time you tap it, a drop will come out, a little mini drop. So that's how you're going to get your samples, how you're going to get your oils out. And so I, first of all, find out, are they using oils? And then let them know, I have started using these. I love them. And I thought of you. And here's why. And then give them a sample. What I like to do is, this can either go one of two ways. You may not have an event or a class set up, but if you do, I like to invite them to that event right then and there and just say, I'm actually hosting an event or having an event. And you guys, I'm welcome. I am more than happy to Zoom in or pop into your class and teach a little class for you, for your friends. But you can even just say, I'm going to be having a little event at my home. I thought of you. I wanted to give you a chance just to try these samples out. I'm always confident with my invitations, always confident. And I always let people know, listen, I would love to help you. Or if you don't want to purchase anything, it's okay. But if you find something you like, I'd love to help you get it. So that's different than saying, don't worry, you don't need to buy anything if you show up. It's just saying, hey, don't stress if you don't want to purchase anything, but if you do, I'll totally help you out. Because I always want to put their mind at ease that they don't have to buy anything and it's okay. Because usually once they come, because I truly feel that way. If they don't purchase, it's okay. But once they come to any sort of event or a meeting with me and they smell the oils and see how they're going to help, they're always 90, I would say 75% of the time they'll purchase. Not always, but a lot of the time. So, but I like to put that there. I like to give them that little out. So, now, if you don't have an event set up and you want to share a sample anyway, that's awesome. That is so perfect for people that you have something in mind for why you want to share. And just say, I wanted to share this with you because I know your son is struggling with his breathing issues and I would love to hear how it works for you. And then just give him a sample and show it how to use it. And then there you go. I always like to check back in a couple of days and just say, hey, did you get a chance to try that? How'd you like it? So I'm going to run you through how I share my sample again, because I kind of shared it with you, but I had like commentary on the side. So what I would do is like, let's say my husband was standing here and he'd never heard of oils before. I would just say, hey, Rich, have you ever tried essential oils before? And then I would say, oh, okay, you have. That's awesome. Is there a certain brand you like? Oh, okay, you get yours from Whole Foods. That's awesome. Well, I have recently started using doTERRA. Have you heard of them? Okay, you haven't. So I love doTERRA because of the quality. In fact, I used to use the brand they have at Whole Foods and I liked it, but this doTERRA stuff, I love it. And I actually thought of you the other day when I was using it because I know that you have had really stiff joints lately. And I have been using this oil called Deep Blue. Deep Blue is another good sample. I've been using an oil called Deep Blue and I thought of you. And I wanted to actually give you a little sample of it, if that's okay, just to see how you like it. And I'd love to just hear how it goes for you. That's how simple it is. That's how simple it is. So now let's say that I'm inviting somebody to a class. So that's how I would just share it with somebody that I just want to get it out there. I'm all about hosting classes or little one-on-one events though. And I realize that dependent on where you live, it might be trickier than others just because of COVID. So if I'm inviting someone to a class, I'll just, same thing. I love to just, sorry, I had like a little grain, like something in my teeth. It's a piece of cornmeal because we had cornbread for dinner with chili. Hello, fall. So let's say I'm going to have a class. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick your date for your class. And that's going to be your bonus assignment tonight, is to set a date for a class. And I'm going to teach you next week how to teach your class. So don't stress about, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So let's say you have a class. What I want you to do is I want you to invite twice as many people to the class as you would like in attendance. So like, let's say you're like, okay, I'd love to have a class. I'd love to have 5 people there. Invite 10 to 15 people because usually 5 will show up. So I get my samples together. And usually I'll do like wild orange or peppermint or wild orange and peppermint, little instruction card of how to use it, have a little tiny handout or flyer, could be a big flyer, advertising your class, essential oils, one-on-one, the date, the time, whatever. And then I like to talk to people in person. It's scarier, I know, but you'll have better results. Because if you just share online, that can work, but usually you don't get the best results. Usually if you'll talk to people like person to person, it really helps. And I do the same thing. I'll just say, hey, Sarah, how are you? Awesome. You're doing well. I'm so glad to hear that. Have you ever used essential oils before? You haven't. Okay. So I just recently started using them and I've loved them. Like I was literally, my kids were never sleeping and I started using lavender and I have been sleeping well because my kids are sleeping well. And I just love them. And so I wanted to just do an informal educational class in my home next week. It's going to be very low key, low numbers, so we can socially distance. Can wear a mask if you feel comfortable. But I'm going to be having a class and I wanted to invite you because I know how much these oils have really helped me. And I would love you to have some of those same experiences. So I tell them when the class is, I hand them a sample, and then voila, there we go. So basically you're doing the same thing again. You're asking, have you heard of oils? And then you're finding out, you're explaining why you love them. Keep it very simple. And then just say, I thought of you. I thought you might like these. And so I wanted to invite you to my class. And then you hand them a sample. Now to invite them to a class, I'm all about reminding them 2 days before your event. Hey, I just wanted to remind you about our class on Thursday. And it can be an online class, you guys. Online classes are good too. I'm going to be doing a class on Thursday. And I just wanted to remind you about it. I'm very excited to see you. And I appreciate your support. I'm glad you're willing to come. 4 hours before the event, you are going to remind them. Now, don't ask them if they're still coming. You're going to remind them. And this is when you can use an excuse to reach out. Hey, I'm so excited to see you tonight. So this is a real legit thing for me. You actually need to park in a certain place because if it's right in front of my house, you get a ticket. So I would just say, make sure that you park south of this sign, right? Or please come to the side door. Or I'm making bath salts as a party gift. You want orange or lavender. You could just remind them. So hand them a sample 2 days before, remind them, 4 hours before, just reminding them one last time. Don't stress out when people cancel. People always cancel. Like whenever I go teach classes, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like I had 10 people coming and now there's only 6. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Everybody says the exact same thing to me. It's okay. Some classes are going to be amazing and some are going to be like, wah, wah, like lame. So it's okay. The point is that you're doing it. So tonight, just to recap real quick, we have talked about how to share, like how to prep your samples, just some logistics for doing samples. My hand itches. I don't know why. And then you are going to, and then we talked about how to share a sample with somebody that maybe you just want to hand a sample to. And then remember, you're going to follow up with them in a couple of days, and then how to hand a sample to somebody that you're just doing invites for. So I want to open it up to see real quick if there are questions about the sample thing. And then I'm going to give you your assignment, and then I'm going to stop the recording and we're just going to chat real quick to see how last week went. So are there any questions about what I've gone over? Is anything confusing or unclear? And you can just unmute yourself.
Do you normally in your samples only give like a 5-drop or a 10-drop in your sample size?
So I usually do 10 to 15 because I want you to be able to try it a few times. But that's a good question. Any other questions?
The lid labels that doTERRA sells, what size bottle are they for?
So those will work on a sample bottle, and they'll also work on your regular bottle. On your sample bottle, it will literally cover the entire lid. On a doTERRA bottle, it will just cover a portion of the lid.
Okay.
So those work for any size bottle. These are great questions. I'm glad you guys have questions. I heard last week there was questions and I totally ended it. So I don't want to do that again this week.
Do you know if doTERRA is going to come out with like the most common oils that we give out as samples, lemon, lavender, and peppermint? Mm-hmm. How come we can't just get labels for lemon, lavender, and peppermint so that we can have those available? I mean, they're the first ones to be gone, and then we still have a whole page full of labels that I don't know if I'm ever going to use them all. So is there anything that they're talking about doing that with?
No, but you can go to Aromatools and you can just buy, let me share my screen again. You can just buy just lemon labels or just lavender labels. So I was showing everyone Aromatools, so I could do lavender stickers. Lavender label oil lock. That's not quite what I had in mind. Okay, well, let's see what pops up. I don't know where that came from, but you can get stickers for just lemon, just, you can find just lavender if you want. Because my assistant does that for my samples. You'll just have to put in the individual label. Like this right here just has tons of this, you know. But yeah, you can just look up lavender. I won't spend too much time doing that. Any other questions? Was it clear on how to share a sample and what you're doing? Okay, perfect. So your assignment for the week. What I want you to do, and there's a bonus assignment, which will give you extra points. So your assignment is I want you to hand out 10 samples this week. Now, you can hand it, I mean, it could be somebody who you know is, like my neighbor is terrified of COVID. And I could give her a sample that could just maybe ease her anxious feelings about it. Balance is another good example. Adaptive is a good sample. And I could just say, I was thinking of you and wanted to drop this off. You're welcome to try it, and here's how I use it. But it's really easy to give out 10 samples. It might be scary, but it's easy. So this week you are handing out at least 10 samples, okay? And then I want you, your bonus assignment is going to be setting up a little get together. That's your bonus assignment. And if you do set up that get together, when you hand out those 10 samples, you are going to be inviting them to your get together. Excuse me. You're going to want to make sure that your get together is post Tuesday of next week so that I can go through and show you what I do to get together. Now, if you have somebody who says, oh my gosh, like I handed out Balance to a woman one time and she's like, I want to order some. And I was like, that's awesome. Can I meet with you and just see if there's any other oils you might be interested in? because I don't sell much retail. I like to get them their own accounts. So I want to show you how to do that. So, and I'm going to do that next week. So your assignment is to hand out 10 samples. Your bonus assignment is going to be to set up an event that you invite those people to. So, and I will show you exactly what to do at that event. And the event could be a lunch with 2 of your best friends, or your mom and your aunt. It doesn't matter. I'd love for you guys to just practice inviting people to an event, or it could be an online event. I still like people to have, an experience with the oil before they come to the event. So maybe you could mail them a sample if you're going to do something online. So yeah. Any more questions?
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
For your online event, do you do it as like a theme? Like if you wanted to do like a wake up call, you could do like the peppermint and orange, because I don't want to just invite people and then be like, I'm not sure what I'm going to. I think I would have to do an online event with our area. So I would want to send out the samples before doing an event. So do you like theme it?
Mm-hmm. You can. So for example, you could do a kids class, and you could hand out you can do a sample of one of the kids' oils for everybody. You can do Calmer or Brave or Thinker or whatever. So I oftentimes do themed classes. I really like, and next week I'll teach you how to do a class and then how you can just twist it to make it themed. So green cleaning is always really great. I've done holiday gifts, how to make neighbor gifts for on the cheap. Show people how to do really cheap, simple stuff for neighbor gifts. I've done classes on emotions. I've done it on hormones. I've done it on doTERRA supplements. I've done it on kids. I've done it on babies. I've done it on pets. And pets isn't my thing. I have a bunny. That's it. But you can just pick whatever theme you're passionate about. I did chocolates and love potions in February, and that's always fun. So yes, you can do a theme and then hand out a sample that corresponds with that for sure. That is a great question. Hi, Rania. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm tired. We get up at 6:30, and I'm in Eastern time. So
that's late.
I'm a little tired. Does doTERRA, excuse me, does doTERRA have any policies, or do they have a template for little business cards? So if you're meeting like a friend of a friend and you want to give your website.
doTERRA doesn't make business cards. I can't talk business cards, but you can just Google like Vistaprints or you could just do doTERRA business cards, and several websites will pop up. You can usually give them out for cheap. Buy a bunch of them for cheap.
Are we allowed to use the doTERRA logo or not?
You are. Yeah.
We are. Okay.
You're good. And some companies have like templates already set up for doTERRA. So.
Oh, okay. Do you happen to know any of those?
There's one called doTERRA Prints or doTERRA Print. I can't remember but try doTERRA Prints.
Okay, I'll find it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to stop actually recording this. All right. So just as a recap, your assignment and your bonus assignment is handing out 10 samples and then inviting those people to an event. So there you go. Look for if you join Launch Your Business, I always have like the assignments posted there so you can find it. There's always good business information. So thank you so much for joining in.